What is the rarest wooden railway item? If you're a 1992 fan, you'll say the white-faced troublesome truck. If you're a Thomas wooden railway fan, you'll say the white-faced troublesome truck. If you're a Mattel Thomas wooden railway fan, you'll say the white-faced troublesome truck. I'm noticing a trend here, and I don't quite like it. Anyway, back onto the video. What is the rarest modern day Thomas wooden railway item? You ask that question, and people go, well, I don't know. The Flying Scotsman? No, it's not the Flying Scotsman. I could paint a fucking wall with the amount of Flying Scotsmans. By that I mean grinding them down, which I would be very happy to do. Please send me your Scotsmans. I will grind them down and turn them into paint that I can smear on my walls. White-faced troublesome trucks too. I really couldn't give a fuck. Moving on. What's the rarest modern day Thomas item? And I mean from 2002 to 2016. We won't count wood, that's not wooden railway, although I quite like wood. That's a topic for another video. So, I'm set up here in front of my record player. I was going to show you off by moving the tone arm and doing shit like that, but as it turns out, these items don't like to sit in the middle and will hit my tone arm. So, let's get started by talking about the first item, which is this. This should be pretty bloody obvious. Oh shit, this should be pretty bloody obvious. This is a 2002 Lorry 3. How many of these exist? No one really knows. His face is very cool. Mine is actually in very good condition, which I always forget. My cargo is shittier than shit. And overall, the Lorry is in fair condition. These appear infrequently, usually for quite high sums of money. Partly because the way it was released was retarded. I'm not going to go into details. I've done a review on these guys in the past, or at least this set. But all you need to know is the short and long of it is, yeah, it was released in a really bizarre way for very limited time, and there's probably about 1,000 to 5,000 of these made. That's a pretty low mintage run for a wooden railway item. Although again, these are all estimates because who the fuck really knows? That's the problem. No one knows. The only item we know that there was only 100 or 200 of is the white-faced troublesome truck. And whose fault is that? Looking at you, Rob. I'm joking. I don't blame him. The main problem is that we've all heralded the white-faced troublesome truck for being the only item rare enough to be coveted with the high prices. However, I don't think the high prices themselves are a problem, more that Thomas wooden railway items are not priced accordingly to their rarity, but that's a topic for another video. So if he's rare, how am I going to top that? Well, this is not going to top it, but I thought I'd mention the next two anyway. This is Gina. Her price has absolutely skyrocketed in the past few years. I bought this example for about $20 a while back. Maybe it was about $17.50. I bought this and a Nelson. The Nelson went nowhere. This nearly quadrupled in value. Whose fault is that? No one. I think this item was always destined to be worth a lot of money, partly because the set she was released in was very large and not very popular. Gina is, no matter what, a very cool character. Mine is not in the best nick, but that's what you get when you pay fucking near nothing for it. It's a really cool item to have, and I actually dug it out of my box upon hearing that it was worth over $100. Is that criminal? I don't know. Is Gina one of the rarest? Yeah. Is she the rarest? Nope. She was released worldwide, therefore there's probably millions of these guys floating around. However, that doesn't do anything to decrease her value. This is a very sought after item, and as such, the very few examples that end up on eBay command very, very high prices. Next up, and this is a personal love interest of mine, these small-faced 2016 items. I have a soft spot for these guys. Very much forgotten by most of the community, with their rarity seemingly going nowhere. However, I think that is all destined to change. These are very obscure, and I think quite rare. Small faces were apparently a change to put them more in line with the boiler sizes of the wood items. Either way, they really give the engines a distinctive look. They're very easily spotted in photographs, and overall look quite nice. As you can see here, what I have is not a matching set. Serial numbers are not matching, which is unfortunate, but they are fairly close. Either way, this is a really cool item. There are probably millions of these around, but I think in longer term, people are going to start heralding these as some of the rarer items ever produced. On a similar token, we have the Tomy era items. Also only released for a small amount of time, their value is also in doubt. I see very few of these. They're definitely not very common, and finding them with matching serial numbers is also not very common, partly because of their similarities to the previous learning curve versions. They're also not differentiated very well, meaning that these usually slip through the cracks. I have nearly a complete set of these. I am missing a fair few characters still, but they are very cool, and one day I think I might go for a complete collection of these in box. They're honestly some of the rarest and most intriguing items, but not the rarest, because again, there are millions of these made. The next item should surprise no one. It is this. I mentioned this in a previous video. This is a low example of the Gordon Limited Edition. And I don't think the limited edition in of itself is rare, but I think the low numbers are. People rarely talk about these, and rarely talk about the serials. Hell, I think the video I did on them was one of the first on YouTube that covered these in great depth. These are very obscure items. Their rarity nowadays is all over the shop, with low mintage examples slipping through the cracks. Check the number on yours, report back to me, because these, I think, are becoming some of the more sought after items. If the Gordon comes to breakfast is too common for you, or better if you've forgotten, sorry, then perhaps try and pursue low examples of the Thomas and James, although like I mentioned in the video that I made on it at the time, you really have to get quite low examples in both for these to be worth it. And then there were three. And I feel like it is best to mention these two next. These were mentioned in a previous video of mine. These are, I think, some of the rarest items ever produced. This is the 2005 example with the serial number right there, very hard to see, of Neil the Troublesome Truck. These were only ever released in one set in Australia, and as such, I've never seen another. The closest I've seen is a couple of 03 examples, as well as 104, which uses a different typography font, out of curiosity. What makes these even more special to me is, I shall grab it now, quite a rare and obscure thing. Once I find it, I can show it to you, although it looks as though I've lost it. I have not. That was a joke. The character cards. These are beyond rare. They're also beyond fucking simple. You couldn't have said more than this? Look, you know what? Before we continue, I have to prove a point. If we read fucking Percy's card, alright? It reads like a fucking thesaurus. Percy is a junior member of the principal team of engines that runs the rails on the island of Sodor. This little chap is quite happy puffing around the yard. He is always keen to oblige, even though the other engines are fucking apt to take advantage. What the fuck kind of language is this? Meanwhile, and just to be completely run the point home, if we look at Neil's card again, yeah, Neil is a simple but kind engine who befriended Scarlowy when he was young. You couldn't have said like anything else. They couldn't have said he was SMM2, Sodor Mainland, like nothing. You didn't even like use the word fucking apt. I'm disappointed. Either way, very rare items. I had the character card for the Troublesome Truck as well, but for all intents and purposes, it's a 2001 character card. They never changed it for the Troublesome Truck. It's weird that they did for Neil. Keep an eye out for it. You'll never see another. I'm going to go all psychopath on you and tell that these are worth $500 for the pair. Probably. Why? Why so high? Well, they're Australian releases. Is that from him? Wait, is that from Neil? Oh no, oh no, oh no. am I kidding? That's not from Neil, that's from a fucking Tommy train. Moving on. Yeah. I mean, $500 each. Why? Not each, sorry, $500, $600 together. Because they're just so damn rare. I've never seen that set boxed, and if I did, it would be worth a lot. It was a 60th anniversary set. The fact that this was the set they chose, I'll never fucking understand. But, it is what it is. If you see these, buy them. I bought these at the time, not really realizing what I got myself into. These are rare. I've never seen another pair. The next item is sort of cheating. But I thought I'd bring it up, partly because I believe these are 2002 items, which they are. An Annie and Clarabel character card. What's so damn special about these? These are European examples. These are the only ones I've ever seen in this style to use this kind, well, to use this style, but in this style of card. I have never seen anything quite like these, and there is something cool, especially about the use of their font, which harkens back to the old style, not actually the style used on the 2002 cards. European stuff is very commonly misunderstood, something that I'm trying to rectify. I think a lot of it's a lot rarer, a lot more valuable than anything the Americans can muster up. Which brings us to the final item of today's video. A very, very, very cool item. It's a lead paint James. Yes, lead paint items. Once taken back to the factory because of this imperfection, nowadays they're a dime a dozen. Well, not a dime a dozen. What the fuck am I saying? There's none. No one ever reports that they're lead paint. I doubt very many people know. Nor the sad tale of the man who killed himself because he produced lead paint items. No, that part's actually true. The guy who was making these, the factory that produced these, the guy killed himself. Anyway, moving on from that, OWOO. That is the code you're looking for when you're looking for the lead paint items. My camera is really quite shit tonight, but another thing is the darker paint. I pointed this out in my previous video, but I thought I'd point it out again. The lead paint items are something you just don't see anymore, and I quite like them for that. Do I feel like I'm going to die from touching this? No, it's just a small amount of lead paint. I'm not fucking sniffing my hands all the time, so it shouldn't be a problem. But, either way, definitely something to look out for, definitely something very, very rare. So that leaves us with the question, what's the rarest Thomas Woodrow item from 2002 to 2016? I feel like the answer is all of them. If I had to pick a definitive few, I would say it is definitely the Neil and Troublesome Truck. It is definitely Lorry 3. The lead paint items coming in there clutch, and any low examples of a better view for Gordon. Seriously, 13 is low. Look around. Apart from that, that's all I've got for you today. But I thought I'd share something with you. Something for the next video. Because it's a little hobby of mine. Let me just grab them out for you. Something rarely discussed and rarely talked about now is the Railway series. But I have been trying my hardest to collect it. In particularly, these. These are Christopher Audrey stories, all of which were purchased in here, Aussieland. These are not all first pressings, but what you're looking at are some of the more desirable ones. New Little Engines, for example, is quite desirable. This is a very desirable one. This is a little bit. This is the one with the classic, I think it's classic. This photo. This is a very classic photo from Woodrow, from just Thomas and Friends. Another classic photo. Another classic photo. This book is just fucking full of classic photos. Very cool. This is a more common one. This was actually one I picked up fairly... this is probably the last one I picked up, although there's a new one coming soon. It's a very simple book. That leaves us with these two. These are the newer ones and the rarer ones. You do not see this one. This one always goes for a shitload of money. This one as well. This is towards the end of the run. My opinion is that anything closer to 42 is very rare. They really didn't do many reprints. As such, only the earlier ones really got any. This is therefore a very common book. But anything past 27's not. 28, which is James, which I just picked up, is not common at all. And anything past that is ridiculous. So thank you all very much for watching. There will be no intro or outro for this video. That should be apparent. I do not have the time to do that now. Uni is still picking up quite rapidly, and I barely had enough time to do this video. So thank you all very much for watching. And, well, bye for now.